Hello guys, welcome back to our second video in this mini series that we are releasing. I hope you enjoyed the first one. Today we're going to be talking about parenting and parenting from a Christian standpoint. And what does the Holy Spirit say about parenting? So we have some questions here that we're going to answer, and I'm here with my lovely wife today. And hopefully this really does inspire you and impact you as you are on your way to parenting. You might even be in a stage of singleness and your spouse is not ready here. Yeah.
You're not married yet?
Yeah, not married yet.
Yeah.
And but we want to see if we can just leave you with some, golden nuggets kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that I know for myself, I used to listen to YouTube videos and podcasts and things about parenting, like tips from not necessarily experts, just moms, way before I even had a husband. And I just feel like they're just things that you can keep in mind. We will say that, we've only been parents for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
So we are just sharing what we have learned so far in being parents. And a lot of this is also background things that, for example, I was accumulating over the years before becoming a mom. But we also are not saying that the way that we do things is the only way or that is the right way. The other thing I would say is that this list is not exhaustive. And lastly is that we might change our minds about things because we are, as our son gets older and as we have other children, we might find that what worked for one child does not work for the other child. Yeah. I do think there are things on this list that are non-negotiable that we probably will never do, but we can't say that, the things are not going to change. Yeah,
and we also have some good points for the men out there, the husbands, the future husbands, and so I want to share them in a little bit as well. So we're going to jump right into this. Make sure you leave your comments below what you think. If there's anything we missed for next time, would be great. But let's jump right in. So, question 1, what are some of the things that we don't do?
Okay, so we just have our list here. So just to start it off with some controversial things, we do not plan to do spanking and we do not plan to do cry it out. Essentially, I've seen a lot of, and this is not to make any parents feel bad that have done this. Yeah. I have seen a lot of studies, read a lot of studies of what it actually does to children long term. Yeah. And we won't share what either of our parents did with us, but I know that spanking creates a lot of shame, and basically we don't want to teach our child that in order to listen to us that we need to resort to physical pain or punishment. We don't want to teach them, obviously, that they can hit other children or they can hurt somebody else in return. So that's something that we have decided not to do. And there is the scripture. Okay, so I know that a lot of people have heard this before. I have also heard somebody say that this is not true, but I personally think that this is what it references to. This is something that is debated a lot.
Okay, I read it, my wife will give the meaning. So it's Proverbs 13:24. Whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him.
So it's saying this verse is often misunderstood. The rod in ancient Hebrew culture represented loving guidance and correction, like a shepherd's staff, not violence. To discipline means to disciple, to train with intention, not to punish in anger. So, you can look up for yourself different effects that this has on children, but that's what we have to say about that. Cry it out. This one is really hard because I would say that, I don't know what the percentage is, but I feel like probably in the 90s, like maybe, I think most people do cry it out. Again, I'm sure that this was done within our families, like most people do this. Most people in today's day and age that I speak to personally do this as well. So again, there's no shame on this, but we have just personally chosen not to do this. Would we be getting a better sleep by now? If we did, possibly.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a better sleep.
However,
but we've chosen not to do it.
We've chosen not to. However, though, not all children respond to cry it out. That's the thing. And basically it's just what it does to their nervous system is something that I'm not comfortable with. It's just a very North American thing. It's a very like North American thing to say that the child can learn to self-soothe if we just leave them to cry on their own. But essentially what I've read is that they actually just give up and they realize nobody is coming. And it's not good for their nervous system. So again, we don't want to put shame on anyone because most people are doing this, I would say, though now it is changing a little bit. And so that's what we have decided not to do. I think it's just good to know of how it can affect your child's nervous system. But again, we're not judging people who do choose to do that. We know how hard it is. You want to get sleep. It's not easy, but there are other methods, and I'm actually taking a sleep training course, which I can put the link to below. I don't know if I should give a quick plug for it now or not, but I can put it below. But
it's been very good.
It's been really good.
It's very, very good lately.
Exactly, and you get support weekly. So it's like you look at the cost of the program, it's not just the program you're getting, it's the fact that she helps you go over the sleep schedule weekly. So it's like your child is
ongoing.
It's ongoing for one whole year, and it's like your child is unique. They have their own needs. Some children sleep on the higher end, some children sleep on the lower end. So this is very customized, unique, and she doesn't tell you need to do cry it out or anything like that. So highly recommend.
Good job, Annie. So the next one is going to be actually very controversial because most people don't know about this. But if you look back in your past, you will see what we mean. So next one is no sleepovers. Now, why? This is going to be a good question. And in this, I want you to think of your sleepovers you had. Now, obviously, most of you had good sleepovers, and but a lot of sleepovers is where
you're exposed to things.
Yeah, exposed to things.
Yeah.
And things can happen. I mean, my experience of sleepovers when they would turn into watching things you shouldn't be watching were more later on, obviously. It wasn't in my toddler stage because they're still very controlled by the parents. But it's again getting into that habit. And Sarah's going to share in a second, but it's really what we're trying to say is sleepovers is where bad things can happen, sinful things can start, things can be exposed to the child in sleepovers. Yeah. So what do you think about that, Honey?
Yeah, so I had a Christian counselor tell me that she did no sleepovers with her children. And this was when I first became a Christian, and honestly, when she said that, I was floored. I was thinking that is so strict. That is ridiculous. But then she made a good point. She's like, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. And she said her girls were actually very happy to go home at that time. And the reason why we don't want to do this is it's not just with friends, it's even with cousins and things like that, because that is exactly the kids, they want to stay up all night, right? That is exactly the time when they are exposed. They put the TV on at 3 a.m. One of them has a cell phone. They have access to their parents' computer that's in the basement. They want to play sexual games, even with cousins and things like that. We know that when you're very young, you don't differentiate. You don't think that that's my family member. You're 7 years old. You don't know. And I'm not saying full-blown things, but I'm saying that things like that happen. And even sometimes there could be an older cousin. You just don't really know. So that's just when things are not good. Maybe we would do I've heard of someone saying sleep unders. I don't even know if that's the term, but you can come over in the morning in your pajamas and we can have breakfast and we can watch movies. But basically, why not? We're not trying to control every aspect of our child, but we are going to do our best to limit risks. Every single thing that I ever did and was exposed to was by being allowed to go and sleep over at someone's house. Even and especially family members' homes. So
for me it was more obviously I didn't sleep over as much as there were family members. Mine were friends, but it was the stories again I have when they were was a bit older, but I just remember having a neighbor, he was an older guy, come and sleep the house we was, and he was the one who was introduced to swearing, and I was so innocent at the time. I said a word that is such an innocent word, and they all laughed at me for using this innocent word. And
because you're referencing to your private parts or something,
and I said it,
you're a little kid.
And I said it in such an innocent way that what my parents taught me of how to say it, and they all made fun of me, and that stuck because you want to try and fit in. As a young kid, you're trying to understand why are they laughing at me, and little things like that just being exposed to. And again, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock for children and for adults. So for example, when they say we go into the clubs, well, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock in the clubs as well. So anyway, but we'll probably go more deeper into sleepovers in the future because I don't think it's been spoke about on many places. Okay, moving on to the next point. No personal screens or devices.
Cell phone, iPad.
Yeah, we're talking about cell phone and iPad. If you have a nice show that you want to watch with your child, that's fine. You're watching it with them, you're looking for anything that's strange going on, or the show is good, that's fine. But we're talking about giving them a phone and walking away and they are watching their stuff on it. Again, as a toddler, it's more innocent than it is non-innocent, but it's the gateway. It's what opens up the door and for them to basically take that personal device into their room when they're older. So we have chosen to do no personal screens, no iPads. Now, what that means is it can be...
Unless it was an iPad that can only, like, you know how, some people have like an iPad that they have in their family room that like stays in the family room. I mean, I guess kids can just take that to the room anyway, so probably won't work.
No, so for us, so the only screen time he gets is he can watch TV. And we are watching the TV with him and we are choosing the shows he's watching. And limited time. Yeah. So for example, he watches Listen to Kids, which is a Christian musical cartoon show on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And also lately he's been watching an old English show that I used to watch when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. This is before any agendas come in, before any corruption come into the cartoons, which is happening with the kids' cartoons now. So we watch an old English show. Again, I watch it with him. If I think for a moment that it's still like, you know, trying to bring in a fear factor or anything like that, I just change it and I fast forward through it. So we're doing that because we don't want him to get to an age where he has a TV in his room. That's going to be an absolute no. He's not going to have a personal device because, as we all know, sin comes through personal devices, even in our own lives. Much sin comes through when we're tired. But do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so I've also seen a lot that, so we were at the park the other day and this little girl went up to this other girl. So the 8-year-old said to the 5-year-old, I have TikTok, I have YouTube, I have Instagram. And she was like basically trying to say she was cooler than this little girl because she had those things. So basically that is how also a lot of, like, we're talking about older children, like, you know, we're not talking about our son's age who's 1.5 years, but
we're just talking about what we're implementing now, not to grow into.
But so for children who they're going to have a cell phone that has Instagram on it or any of those things, even video games, this is how a lot of children are, number one, predators can come in, and number two, bullying, because now instead of it being left at school, a child can go home and now they can get messages on social media, but also there's those chats on the video games as well, where now people, you know, can start messaging children. So basically, by them having a phone and having these types of apps, we are letting actual strangers in to connect with our children. And I know it's going to be hard when they want to have those devices. The other thing too is that we obviously have to model these things ourselves. Like, as you know, like I've been saying how both Adam and I in different ways have been trying to get off of our phones more. So we really need to not be sitting, like we're not sitting on our phone in front of our son. Like I know that I'm trying my best to not sit on my phone in front of my son, because the more that we're giving attention to these devices, even if I'm reading my Bible on there, he doesn't know the difference. So we have to practice it ourselves so that our child is not like, why can't I have a phone? You're always on your phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 100%. And even my harp on it is no kids under 19 or 18 should have a smartphone. Like that's where I draw the line. And maybe we go into a future video. But if the government are not going to put these procedures in place, we as the parents need to be above the government when we are protecting our kids. You understand? So does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to add one more point to
the screens.
Yeah,
something we would just quickly add is that we are not perfect with the screen time.
Yes.
Some days he will go without watching a screen, and then
like a TV. Not a phone.
Yeah, a TV.
Phones I know.
Yeah, so a TV. So, you know, some days we'll try our best basically to not have to put the TV on. Obviously,
like
cartoon. Obviously, as I am recovering from chronic fatigue, obviously sometimes I really need to put it on for 15 or 20 minutes. But I have heard that under a certain age, like 3 years old or something like that they should not really be watching more than 15 minutes a day of screens, and just like those dopamine hits and how it actually affects children later with their mental health. So I think it's important to know about that, because then you know why you're doing it, because you know you're trying to, you know, protect their brain and protect the, you know.
So and one thing I'll add to it is when we put the TV on, we turn down all the colors to very dull colors. And we do, for example, if we're taking Gabriel for a medical appointment and he's got an ultrasound and he doesn't want to sit still, we will put the cartoon on so he can watch it and
he'll
sit still while the technician is performing our duties. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, next one I would do, no overloading toys. Too many toys are very stimulant, and not very good for the child. So what that means, if I go into someone's house and they have hundreds of toys scattered around.
We haven't been good with that, by the way.
No, we have been good. We've gotten way better.
But we're staying at my parents' house, so that we're having a lot of things, a lot of toys around.
No, that we did, but for me, I didn't want it. But we've kind of agreed now on it, and you got inspired by a video watching about overloading. So anyway, the kid comes into a room and he's got hundreds of toys, right? That is going to be overstimulation for him because he's not sure, or her, not sure where he's going to go, left, right, up and down, and he's not going to appreciate. So what we've done is we've reduced it to a number of 5 to 10 toys, right? And now, so it's very less, there's no big basket of toys. Now they can appreciate that one toy and they cannot be overstimulated by that toy.
Yeah, I saw this video my mom sent me about how a child often, they could seem really frustrated and irritable, and often it's because there's too many toys in the room. They actually can't go into a deep play, so they're just kind of like butterflying like over the different toys, and it's overstimulating to them. So, you know, once we get into our own home, then we will be able to, like, we want to, you know, we're going to be the ones cleaning it up more and stuff like that. So we're going to have even less toys, but we don't have, basically we want to do like the toy rotation, and then we took the basket out of the room just because otherwise it's all over the floor and there's too many toys.
So the next one is not to show your fears and dislikes. Now the story is this. Once upon a time I heard a mum, she didn't like salmon, fish. I don't know how you can't like it. It's sort of a beautiful fish.
Beautiful.
It's so tasty. One of my favorite.
It's beautifully delicious.
That's nice, honey. I mean, I love fish so much I'll put it on pizza. I'm a big fish pizza kind of guy, you know, seafood pizza. So this was a story. The woman's got 2 kids and she doesn't like salmon, and they are very young, and the dad brings salmon to the table and she's like, ugh, this salmon is disgusting. And guess what? The kids see the mum say this and they hate salmon too. If you don't like something, you don't have to tell your child you don't like it. Same with your fears. If you are scared of a spider, do not show that fear to your child. Don't run up to it and go, somebody get a slipper, and then when you get a slipper, you actually annihilate that spider.
Well, I need to work on that because I kill spiders and Adam saves them.
Sure, but you maybe.
But I don't act. Yeah, it's like.
But this is what you should be doing. Right?
I should be doing, or like not acting. Maybe probably just working on actually overcoming the fear, overcoming the dislike. But not putting it on the child, like pointing, like we've said before, opening a book and seeing broccoli or seeing a spider and going like, ew, broccoli, like. Ew, a spider. And it's like, what, you're teaching your child to dislike something that they wouldn't have had this, you know, preconceived notion about if you had not said that. So that's what we're trying to do. Sorry.
Yeah, don't put your fears onto children. And so I think you understand what I'm saying. And like my wife said, learn to overcome them yourself so your child can see you as an overcomer. Yeah,
it's coming from a genuine place as opposed to just like pretending. Because there's a lot of things that I have fears about, but I need to work on them. Like, I don't like getting my blood taken, but in front of Gabriel I was like, Mommy's gonna be so brave! And you remember you poked my finger with that thing, and I was like, Gabriel, look at Mommy! Mommy's so brave! And inside I was like, no!
Everyone's gonna know your mommy voice now. Okay, last one I would want to, because we want to go on to the do's. And this one is a very big one because my wife taught me this. Now, when Gabriel come out of the womb and he would be crying, and I'm a new dad and I don't understand why he's crying, why I'm so tired, why I'm exhausted, and I have to perform in that moment. My wife said this and it really stuck with me. She says, Adam, remember Gabriel come from a 5-star resort. He had unlimited food, he had a hot tub that he lived in, he could sleep as much as he wanted. It was like the best hotel he had. And then he come out into the world, and that 5-star is now gone down to maybe a 2-star, right? And this helped me just realize that like he lost what he had. Like he had the 5-star hotel and now it's gone to a 2.
Basically that now they're feeling for the first time cold.
Yeah.
They're feeling for the first time hungry. They're feeling what it feels like to be uncomfortable by wearing a wet diaper.
I am thinking, oh my goodness, this child is asking so much from me. But in reality, they had so much before.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they need to adjust to not having all the same comforts that they had. And that can give us maybe more patience as a new parent, possibly.
Yeah. So the next one, the very last one, is just sing to your baby in pregnancy. And this is obviously in pregnancy part. Like sing and talk and pray over your child while they're in the womb. They do hear your voice. They do recognize your voice. I have this saying that I've said on a video before. I say to my son, hello, 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 hello. And I say, are you my big strong boy? Are you my big strong boy? Are you my big strong boy that loves Jesus? And he remembers that. And when I say that to him today, he finds a comfort in that. Because he heard that from the beginning. So anyway, I hope you like the don'ts and you learned from them, and we're still learning. And again, we don't want to say like, what's the word here? We don't want, like, we're still practicing to be parents as well.
Yeah, we make lots of mistakes. Okay, so we are going to share some do's. So I'm going to try to group some together. So one of them is about emotional regulation. This kind of goes in with gentle parenting. I don't know that I would say we're a mix between gentle and biblical parenting, but essentially, I actually think I spoke about this at some point in one of the videos, but currently what we are trying to do is, let's say Gabriel is upset because he wants a toy and he cannot have it, or he wants something he cannot have. Instead of just going to him right away and saying no, or just taking that toy out of his hand, practicing empathizing first before correcting, essentially. Because even as adults, that's what we want as well. If you say to another adult, just no right away, nobody is gonna like that. And children don't understand or like that either. So just been trying to say, Gabriel, I know you want to hold that, but mommy cannot let you have that. But you can have this instead. Gabriel, I know that you just wanted to play with this water. And in terms of the emotional regulation, I feel like this goes with it as well, is when Gabriel's really upset, I use this particular voice that I feel like I'm just showing him that I understand. And even though he's a 1.5 years old, I do feel like something changes when I speak to him like this. Like I say, Gabriel, mommy knows you're so upset. You wanted to have that toy. Mommy knows it's so upsetting. And I just talk to him like that, and it's like he understands and he knows that I am empathizing with him. That's what we want as adults as well. And then when it comes to actual practices, as he gets a little bit older and he can understand more, I can help him. This is what my counselor did with me when I was seeing a counselor when I don't know if I was 10 years old. She would have me draw how I was feeling. So there's different things that we can do with our children when they come home from school, whatever it is, each day, asking them, okay, let's draw a picture of how you're feeling right now, to help children to express and to understand their emotions, help them to basically, for example, if they're feeling really upset, we can show them in practice to take big deep breaths in and do big sighs out when we're frustrated. We can help them to, okay, you're angry right now, let's go outside and go play with this basketball, or let's do some skipping really hard. Like basically just showing them how to regulate their emotions as opposed to just punishing them and sending them away. Because I feel like this just really teaches children that if they are feeling upset and we just say, they're feeling really upset, it escalates. And we say to them, that's it, just go to your room. You're sending them to the room. They're afraid now. Now they're feeling like their emotions, they're not allowed to be around you when they're upset. They're only lovable, they're only acceptable if they're in a positive mood. And so that kind of goes along with timeouts and things like that. I don't know what I will call it. I don't know if I'll call it calm time. I think I would call it calm time, for example, where you could have a place in the house, like a nook where you have like a blanket and a book and things like that. And when they're acting out, okay, we're gonna go and calm down now. And we can go there and I can help him to breathe. I can give him a hug. He can read a book. Maybe he has to sit there. Maybe he did do something and he needs to sit there in the corner and just read his book and have some time away from other children. But we're basically trying to find a balance between, like, yes, there is going to be discipline. Like the discipline is you were taken from being able to play anymore. But the thing is we want to be able to help our children to calm down and to regulate. Like, I'll just quickly say this. I told Adam this the other day. I had a friend in high school. I was in my room. I was like raging mad. I was upset, but deep down I was actually really hurt. And then my friend said to me, come here. And I'm like, what? And I go there and she just grabs me and she just hugs me and she's just like holding me. I don't know how she knew to do that, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually what I needed. This is exactly what I needed. And yeah, it just doesn't help to become combative with our children because we're just going to keep escalating, and they're not going to learn when they're older what to do with their emotions. They're not going to learn when I'm upset, what do I do? They just know I'm not acceptable to be around when I'm feeling these like big emotions, essentially.
Good job, honey.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, Adam went to go get the charger for our laptop because it is dying, but something else I wanted to add is, of course, speaking life. This is something that is like a no-brainer. We are not into teasing. We're not into speaking negatively over our children or about our children. We obviously want to speak positively, but something that I want to do, or that I've been trying to do with Gabriel, is, let's say when he looks in the mirror, yes, I tell him he's handsome. When I tell you my son is cute, I'm not exaggerating. My son is actually adorable. He is beautiful. He's stunning. And I tell him he's handsome. But the main thing that I want to tell him when he looks in the mirror, this is actually what I say to him. He looks in the mirror and I say, oh, look at that boy. That boy is made in the image of God. The Lord has good plans for that boy, plans to prosper him and not to harm him, plans to give him a future. I'll say, the Lord thought about this boy. He chose him before the foundations of the world. And basically just different scriptures like that, because I want his identity to be rooted on scripture and what God says about him, and not just worldly things of me saying how handsome he is. Even though I will tell him he's cute, I will tell him he's handsome, but I want it to be more input on what the Bible says, what God says about him. And that kind of ties in too with, I don't want there to be a focus on other children. Like, to me, I'm really not into like, you are the cutest boy in the whole world, or you are the smartest boy in the whole world, or you're the prettiest girl in the whole world. Why? Because why can't we say that everyone is beautiful, everybody is pretty. You can be the most beautiful boy to mommy, but you don't need to be the most beautiful. Like, that just creates competition and comparison, in my opinion, and emphasis on the wrong things. So again, nobody needs it in a bad way. It's a good thing. I'm not offended if somebody gives my son a compliment and tells him that he's handsome or our children are beautiful, anything like that. I love that. That's great. And it's more important what I'm saying overall to him, for him to have his identity solidified. And then within that, when I was saying about speaking life, is when it comes to teasing as well, just being mindful of even like not teasing about even silly things like, oh, like look at your chubby legs, look at your big tummy, like, you know, these types of things. Why? Because now you are, why create an insecurity in a child, and they didn't think anything was wrong with their legs or their stomach before, but now we've pointed something out, and now it's great. And
that's a good point. I just want to say something to that. Many times I hear mums and dads like say something like, oh, come here, you little silly child, or my son is being so silly, or you're acting crazy, or something like that.
It's not a positive tone.
It's meant to be funny, but it's not funny. It's actually creating an insecurity, and it's actually not speaking life over the child. You don't need to say words like that. Even if your parents said it to you growing up, like, you don't need to pass that word on. You can use 100 better words instead of saying words like that.
I forgot to share something else that has to do with Adam. So this is basically building your child's independence. I'm not saying like completely independent in any way, but there are things we can do to help them to have self-esteem. And it's something that I didn't even think of, but I saw Adam doing it. This is something I naturally wouldn't be good at. So Gabriel had his teddy bear on top of his kitchen set and he couldn't reach it. So for me, what I would do, I would go and give him his teddy bear because he can't reach it. But what Adam does is he says, oh, you can't reach it. Well, how could you reach it? What could you do to get your teddy bear? What I would do, because obviously he's 1.5 years old, so, you know, he can't answer that at this point. But Adam said what I would do is I would get something long to try to get it down. So he goes and he gives him a golf stick, and then he shows him
a child's golf stick.
A child's golf stick, and he goes and gives him the golf stick. He can hook it around the bear and bring it down. And then within a couple of minutes, Gabriel now can pull his teddy bears down.
Yeah.
Adam basically will help our son, and you work with children a lot, so you naturally do this. Have them have like critical thinking, or they basically think for yourself, or think a different way to get something done. This helps them to build their self-esteem.
Yeah, coordination, understanding, problem solving.
I saw this popular, I think he's like a psychiatrist, or I'm not really sure, on YouTube, but he said that the more parents are, the more they build up their own self-esteem, they are taking away self-esteem from their child, because the parents feel like I can do every single thing for them, but okay, you're not enabling them to learn how to do anything themselves. So I like when Adam was doing that.
Okay, so I'm here now by myself this time. Sarah's gone upstairs. Gabriel just just woke up from his nap. So I've got 3 points I'm going to tie in together. Fortunately, with my work at the time, I had a lot of time off during the day. And so that was very important that I was present with Gabriel in his first month, 2 months. So what I would say to the dads out there, because obviously mums will have time off, depending on your country, where you are, what assistance you can get, different here. Here you can have up to a year, and in Canada you can have up to a year, and you can also have up to 18 months, and you can also share that with your spouse. So I don't know, I'm not sure if it's the same like that in the States. I don't know, I think different insurance, different working companies. Anyway, but try and take off as much time as you can without being financially burdened. If you can take more time off because you are in a financially stable place, but take it off. So take as much time off as you can. Dads, to be present, especially in the first months of the child's birth. And then this time you will get stretched. Like God will stretch you, both the husband and the wife. And so be prepared. I have got stretched in this season, and in the stretching is hurt. In the stretching there is difficulties. In the stretchings there is selfish tendencies that will come off and be broken off, and it does hurt sometimes to get them taken away. So just know that you will be getting stretched in this season. And last point that I love, we have a thing up here in Canada called Early On, and it's a parent participation school for newborns up to 6 years old. So I get there to go there with Gabriel. We go there for 2 to 3 hours. We meet with the other parents, make so many friends. It's a great place to connect with the community, evangelize, and just encourage the parents. And yeah, I love that. So find a parent participation center near you, and go from there.
Okay guys, we are wrapping up this video. Gabriel is here with us. Yeah, like we've said before, this is not an exhaustive list. Also, we will probably change our mind on some things. We'll find some things where
we will learn better things, is what we'll do. If we find something better, we'll change it.
We will change it, yeah. And we definitely make mistakes. And I think what's really important, it's important to apologize. Even at this age, but especially as children get older, I think it's just important to say, Mommy made a mistake. I shouldn't have yelled. I was having a bad day. It's not your problem. And Mommy's gonna try to do better for next time.
Yes. Yeah, so the last question is, how do we stay rooted in grace when we mess up? What you need to know, we have messed up. There's many times when I lost my temper, become angry, frustrated, lack of sleep. Again, it's in that stretching. I just want to say that we are not perfect and we have messed up. I would love to give you the insides and the scoops, but we're running out of time.
Yeah, just a quick plug before we wrap up. Well, first of all, thank you guys for liking, subscribing, watching. Thank you so much to the Patreons that we have. Gabriel's about to end this video himself. We have NowBloom Academy beginning this September 2nd, 2025, a live cohort. You can also do the self-paced program as well, but we do have a live one starting on September 2nd. So if you're looking to become a Christian life coach, you also receive your own inner healing throughout the course. So we'll put the links.
So please, if you feel led to become a Christian life coach, please sign up. It starts September 2nd. And like I always say, my wife has put so much work into this. And it's a great way to, get certified and support us at the same time. So we really appreciate that. And what else do we want to say? Was there anything? Yeah, let us know what God's been showing you about parenting, and we're willing to learn as well. So yeah, I'll just end with one scripture for us, and that's Isaiah 54:13. All your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. Anyway, our child is here, so we need to go back into parent mode and leave the YouTube world for a little longer, okay? See you later, guys.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.